Oh, we have a chat.
Hey. Hello, everybody.
Can everybody see that, or just me?
Hi.
Just Witchers.
Just
Witchers.
Witchers. Okay. Hi, guys. We have
How
rocks.
are you all doing?
We don't know.
Well, welcome to today's roundtable for August. We decided to do something a little different today.
We did a square table, rectangular table.
So it's the long table
For rocks.
discussion. But we wanted to talk a little bit about the other side of our business, the Springfield Rock Company side.
Well, one of the other sides, yes.
So a lot of you have seen our tour, that we've done online. Obviously we sell cabs every once in a while on here. If you've been around for a minute or two, you've seen some of the cabochons that have come and gone. But then when you come in person, about a third of our showroom is a gem and mineral display store.
It's pretty cool.
Yeah.
Some pretty large specimens, even larger than this one.
Yeah, this is like a baby sized one compared to some of them. That was the heaviest one that we could carry in here though without getting Chris involved. And I figured he carries enough rocks, so he probably wouldn't want to carry it anymore.
He gets a workout from time to time.
So I wanted to touch on just kind of how the rock and gemstone mineral side came to be, Kevin.
Well, in our store, it came to be basically as a result of the bead craze that engulfed the world back in, probably the early 90s, late 80s. That's what it was.
The pony bead craze.
Yeah, there was
Yeah.
the pony bead craze and all kinds of jewelry with beads and everything else. And that was a big deal. And, when I was with Tandy, we had a lot of requests for those things. So they let me buy them and we sold them just like crazy. And then we got into some very basic necklace stringing supplies. And we bought strands of chips that had been drilled, so you could make a necklace with some tiger eye chips and agate chips and jasper chips and all that kind of stuff. And you could put beads in between them, and it was all fun. And we had a table that was designated for that, and it was about this size. And it was just full of little containers of beads and chips and spacers and all that kind of stuff. And it just went from that to this. And
This is a lot.
It was kind of a big leap. But we discovered one year we decided to go to Tucson, the Gem and Mineral Show there. And if you don't know what that is, Tucson's a pretty good sized city, and they hold a Gem and Mineral Show there. It lasts for about 2 months, and it consists of the Tucson Gem and Mineral Show, which is a small thing and lasts for 3 or 4 days. But there's also, I don't know how many others, 40?
I think it was like 40 or 50.
40 or 50 small shows that last anywhere from 2 to 3 days up to 10 to 12 days.
And it's across the whole city. Right?
And it's located it's pretty much located in hotels across the city. They'll take over a parking lot or a parking space or the lower floor. And some of them have their own tents, and these tents are as big as football fields. Some of them, and they're filled with vendors from all over the world. You name the place, and there's somebody there from it, and they've got rocks for sale that they want to sell. So we went there one year and discovered that this is really cool.
Kevin was like, "This is awesome."
And we could sell this stuff.
Because you've always been a rock hound. Right?
Yeah, so we started buying stuff, and it worked, to say the least. But when I was little, like in kindergarten, actually it was first grade, I lived in a small farm town in northeast Iowa. I mean, if there was 300 people in that town, there was a parade. You could count on that. And I went to a school, old brick 3-story schoolhouse. The senior class had like 14 people in it, and kindergarten was a little bigger, and first grade, I don't know, I don't think we had 20 people, but we may have. Anyway, they didn't have fences around schools back then, And the school was located right along the road that went through town. There was only one, and it was a 2-lane highway. And when they let us out for recess, uh, they had a swing set, and a couple of teeter-totter things, and that was about it. And otherwise, you were left to playing marbles, blink, if you wanted to. But there was a ditch along the area where they played baseball. And I went out to that ditch and started digging around. I noticed shiny stuff, and actually I found little bits of quartz, and found a lot of fossils, little fossilized clams that they call brachiopods now, or well, they still called them that then, but I didn't know that. So anyway, I would go home at night or in the afternoon after school got out, and I would go out to the porch around our house, and I would dig out of my pockets all these rocks, and I'd lay them out on the porch railing, and look at them and get the mud off and the dirt off. And Mom was always ticked off because I always got my pants all dirty and everything else. But that was it. I mean, I was pretty well hooked from then. I mean, anytime we went any place where you could see rocks,
Kevin was digging them up.
I was down there looking at them. And I think the first time I found an agate, oh my goodness, that was so cool. And then when our family moved to LaPorte City, Iowa, there was some places, a lot of people had gravel driveways. And back then they used gravel from the creeks and the river. And there was agates in those driveways. Now, they weren't very big because the gravel was pretty little, but you could find them. And me and a friend, we'd go out there and sit in those driveways and dig through and scrounge down and try to find these little agates. And I found quite a bunch. I still, they're tumbling right now.
Yeah,
some of them are.
Kevin keeps bringing them in, the
Yeah.
buckets from his garage that he's been hoarding since first grade.
But
Like, that's dedication.
Okay,
yeah, those were Lake Superior agates, and they were pretty neat. And that's what this is. I don't know how well anybody can see this. Boy, you're not going to be able to see that worth a flip, are you?
Well, just if Tony pushed number 4
What's number 4?
right here. Look at you go. Wee.
Okay. That is a Lake Superior agate, and it's pretty nerfly looking, but it's got lines in it, and it's pretty cool. And actually, if you were to cut this up on a rock saw, which I do, you could make some really cool cabs out of this. It's very, very pretty. And same way with this one.
See.
This is this is not a Lake Superior agate. This is a Malawi agate from the country of Malawi.
Ooh.
But it looks a lot like a Lake Superior agate. And so, oops, we got a glare there. But anyway, you can kind of get an idea of what it's like.
What makes a Lake Superior agate a Lake Superior agate? Is it called
Well,
Lake Superior?
that's where they were kind of found and sort of discovered, was up around Lake Superior. And they still find some there, but they're mostly picked out, and gone.
There was
So-
a craze. Everybody went and got their Lake Superior agate, and now there's no more Lake Superior agates.
Well, not exactly, but you gotta understand, rockhounds, there's a lot of rockhounds out there. They're kind of like leather workers. There's a lot of leather workers out there. And rockhounds figured out that you could take those Lake Superior agates and you could make some pretty neat stuff.
Yeah.
Or you could sell them. And, that's it. The economy thing just went. So anyway, I accumulated quite a batch.
Yeah, there's a lot of people that like rocks. I was really amazed that when we went to Tucson, that's just the whole city is just a whole bunch of rock hounds for like
Oh,
2
boy.
months. It's incredible. Somebody asked if we had ever gone out to Quartzsite. Have you ever attended that show?
I never had.
We talked to a couple people last year, I feel like, about the Quartzsite show, and it seemed more of like a one-on-one, like we would go out maybe and vend with other people, kind of that atmosphere, maybe a little bit of a less. We like to go and buy pallets of rocks, and I don't know. I mean, we've never been. We go to the Gem and Mineral Show, and we have our 5 or 6 shows that we always hit. We've got our people that we buy from.
Yeah, and we're there buying to resell.
Mm-hmm.
That's what it is.
Yeah.
But rocks are fun. And when we have it, since we have such a collection, a wide variety here in the store, I've always felt that every single kid should be a rockhound. That's just the way it is.
I would agree.
So we try to cultivate rockhounds, and we give away free rocks, and we'll give little tour things, and we'll just say all kinds of interesting things to kids of all interesting sorts and get them excited about rocks. Because it's not that we want to sell them anything necessarily. We just want to have, rocks are something that's neat. And we live in a time that's troublesome. And rocks don't talk back. They don't eat nothing. They're nice. They just sit there and
They're
look good.
pretty.
They
Don't have
can
any
make you feel
political
good.
beliefs. Yeah.
Somebody asked, what is an agate, Kevin?
Well, an agate is essentially a quartz product, if you want to call it that. It's a mineral. And agate is something that's typically associated with lines.
Okay.
Not always. Like, for instance, this, are they going to be able to see that?
Yeah,
Probably not,
if
huh?
you hold it up, they can see it.
Okay, and you're not going to be able to see it very well, are you? Because,
Yeah, there you go.
just a minute. We need a light behind us.
Yeah.
Can I
Mhm.
make my phone work with light? Does that do it? It went off.
There it goes.
Oh, your phone is dumb. Hold on.
All phones are dumb. I got news for you.
Yeah, but yours is especially dumb.
Oh.
There it is.
Yeah.
Well, that's nice. It's better off if you hold them up there. That's a slice of a Brazilian agate, and it's a really good one. A slice like that would probably sell for in the neighborhood of $20. And Brazilian agates can get, anywhere from the size of your thumbnail up to the size of probably a third the size of a Volkswagen.
Wow. That would be.
Maybe not quite that big, but pretty darn close. Agates can be big depending on the country and the area that they form in. So this is an agate. Here, put your dumb phone behind that.
Right there in front of you, Liz. Hang
Okay.
on a second. You won't even have to hold it up.
Oh, I see it right there. Huh?
Oh, no.
Where am I at? Right
Okay.
here.
No, this way.
That is a really, can you get your phone?
Yes.
That's a really cool Brazilian agate. That's beautiful. And I have this here because I'm gonna take and grind the edges off this a little bit and kind of make it nice and shape it.
You gonna make a cabochon?
I'm gonna shape it so that it's kind of regularly shaped, and I'm gonna make it for a pendant. Because
I knew we were gonna sell some rocks
we just
today.
sold this one.
Yeah, Latigo said
all right.
sold.
Really?
Yeah, we just sold this one for $2. All right.
Well, that's a one of a kind deal there. Well, that's a good one. I'll say whoever got that got a good one.
So how did it go from having a table like this to having a third of the store?
We went to Tucson, and
Just
we looked around, and I think that was just Molly and I think, and Becky,
Mm-hmm.
and
your daughter and then
yeah,
your wife.
and she's just bead crazy. I mean, she's just insane.
Molly likes
for bead.
sparkles, and Becky
Oh
doesn't not like sparkles.
no, but Molly is. You have to understand, Dan. There is a sickness involved in this, and I am dead serious. There's an illness here, and Molly has got it. If it sparkled, it deserved time and money. And
Okay.
we bought so many stone beads. We bought beads by the gazillion.
You just buy them by the box, but
Well,
you know how many beads you can fit in like a 6x12 by 12?
Oh.
You can fit like $10,000 worth of beads in like a 6x12 by 12.
No, well, you can if they're expensive enough. But to give you an idea, when we first started and we decided we're going to buy stone beads instead of all this plastic stuff. Well, stone beads you can buy cheap ones, you can buy sort of cheap ones, you can buy not so cheap ones, you can buy kind of expensive ones, and you can buy expensive ones, and you can buy stupidly expensive ones.
And Tucson has it all.
That's kind of the way it works.
Mm-hmm.
So you have to decide, can you sell this, and this? Well, obviously you can, because there's people that want cheap ones and medium priced and really expensive ones. So we would stop, and we were there for a week or whatever, and Molly would stop at every vendor. And the way it works is Molly picks up a strand of beads and says, "How much?" And the vendor says, $5 a strand. And Molly says, "What if I take all?" oh, you hear this foreign language going on to 250. Okay, I'll take all. And then we take 6 of this, 10 of that, 12 of this, 50 of this, on, and then we go to the next vendor. And it's the same thing and the same thing. And you can buy bead strands for 50 cents. You can buy bead strands for $1. You can buy them for $5. We bought the range. And we ended up, I think that time with like 3 pallets of boxes of beads.
Oh, wow.
And while we were there,
It's a lot.
we saw a lot of neat rocks. So we bought some of those too, because that way people could see where the beads came from, neat rocks. Well, we brought the rocks back. People bought the rocks. Little ding, you know, but it didn't just fall off the turnip truck. It's been a while. So next time we went, we bought more rocks, and we sold more beads and sold more rocks. And it has gotten to this day where I think last time what did we bring back last time? Like 11 pallets?
I think it was
There
11.
a lot. There was
Yeah.
a lot.
11 pallets that are, you know, pretty much 4 feet high, 4 feet wide, 4 feet deep, and filled with boxes.
That we have to pack ourselves. You guys saw the pictures.
Yeah, of this stuff. Not all this stuff, but most of it. And we bring it back and we tell people, look, you got to find a place for this. And that's how it works.
So it was fairly quick that kind of going from a table to going to, you know, a sizable portion of the store kind of
Well,
happened?
yeah, it happened within about probably a 3-year period.
Mhm.
And then after the 3-year period, it really got crazy.
But surprisingly, our bead side has not expanded since I started working here. And when I started working here, it was mostly beads. We had one amethyst like cathedral that we still have. It's a real nice one. It's not all that big. We do have ones that are like 3 and 4 foot tall. We have citrine tables or amethyst tables, depending on what year it is. We kind of rotate out a table when we sell one.
Well, we have these big fancy lights providing light to us right now. There's a citrine coffee table type thing that's hollow. It's a geode. If you're a small person, you could sit in it and take a bath. It's almost as big as one of these lights.
Yeah, there was somebody that said that they came in this week or soon. Yeah, Jenny said that she was here and she was just Googling it.
Yeah,
Googling
it's pretty cool. And that first amethyst that we bought, the first ever big display piece, it was about, I don't know, 2 feet or a little better high and maybe 18 inches wide. And we still have that. I didn't really want to sell it, so I put a high price on it and figured nobody'd ever buy that.
Kevin likes some of his rocks a lot.
Yeah, and that's a problem. You know, it really is.
Yeah, I would say that, you know, our showroom is fairly unique. I don't think there's another one like it in this area or even in, you know, this part of the
I
country.
don't know where you'd find one in the United States, to tell you the
Yeah.
truth.
I mean, we do have him, so I think he makes us extra unique.
And then when he goes down to the mines in Arkansas and comes back with buckets and buckets of rocks.
Well,
Yeah,
that's-
so why don't we just start?
let's talk
We
about a little bit
brought
of what we got.
rocks, guys. We went out there. We went shopping for the video. So Kevin, we're just gonna
We'll talk
let's
about
just
little
talk
ones
rocks.
first.
Okay,
Okay.
talk about little ones
This is one of my favorites, kind of
right here.
where we at. Oh, okay, very good. This is dear to my heart. This is what is called, let me figure this out so people
You're
can
right
see
here.
it to the best.
There you go.
That's where I am.
That's where you're at.
This is a cold water agate, and you can find them. There's several states that have them, but typically you don't just walk around and find one. You have to dig for them because they are a type of geode and they form under the ground. So this cold water agate does not look like much. Thank you. Looks like kind of just nothing but a nurbly old rock. But when you cut them, they have these bands in there.
Oh, wow.
And most of the ones in our area were all white and brown and gray. And they'll have holes in the center like this one did. And when you cut the slices, oftentimes you get really pretty cool, a pretty cool looking hole, and you can grind it off, polish it, and you end up with a really nice piece of jewelry. I found these as big as, hard to say, as
Like an emu egg.
I
feel like
think
that
the
was the
biggest
size.
one I
Very
ever
specific size.
biggest one I ever found was probably, like an ostrich egg.
Okay.
And and cut that, and it's pretty nice. I have that in my collection at home. There's several there. We have some cabs that I've cut out of this, here in the store, and we've sold a number of those.
Some of you probably bought one.
Yeah.
But the problem was, like I said, you have to dig them, and you don't just know where to dig. You got to get lucky. And there was a guy that lived in the town that I grew up in. He was a rock hound, and he was out scrounging around in a park, a public park, and he found a little creek, and he got walking along that creek, and he went off the beaten path, and he got back in some guy's field. And he walked across this field down into where there was another creek, and there was some areas of clay that had some interesting rocks that were exposed. And he started digging around, and he found some of these agates. Well, you couldn't, there came a time when you could no longer access that place through that park. Well, you could, but it was like a 5-mile walk. Nobody wants to walk 5 miles and carry back 50 pounds of rocks.
Absolutely not.
You could not drive there. So there was another way to go. And we drove to this town, drove on the outskirts of town, down through the country, through the cornfields, and parked in front of an old farm cemetery. I don't know how else to describe it. The thing wasn't 100 feet by 100 feet. It was just a little thing.
No family plot.
Yep. And you could walk alongside that cemetery, and you go down through a field, and you came to this little bitty narrow creek that had extreme minute quantities of water in it. You could walk in it, and you could see neat rocks, pieces of cold water agates sticking out of the sides of this creek, but you could never find any big ones. So you walk down this creek, you get out of the creek bed at a certain point, you walk through a grove of pecan trees, across a field, across a barbed wire fence, down through a field of yucky, bad stuff. And then you crossed the fence and you got down to where you could dig these agates. And you're going out in the middle of the woods and you're just digging in a spot. And it's crazy. You got down in there and you dig out a pocket of these things. And we would dig them up. My friends and I, we'd carry them in 5-gallon buckets the best we could. I mean, we were 13, 14, 15, 16 years old. You can't carry a whole lot of rocks, especially through all that kind. Anyway,
You guys were dedicated.
That's why I like these.
Dedicated little rock hounds.
Yeah, we were.
Yeah, because it seems like whenever you cut these open, you never know what you're going to get.
No, I knew what I was going to
It's like a box of chocolates.
Yeah.
Yeah, but that's not a cold water agate.
No,
That's a Malawi agate. These are fun. These are little guys. These are aragonite clusters. And aragonite takes a lot of different forms. They're cheap, they're kind of fun, and they're just pretty neat. But aragonite can get huge, big. And also, when you look at, they can't see all this stuff.
What do you want them to look at?
Well, this Brazilian agate here.
Oh,
I'll just
move it.
Yeah.
You just set it there. You do what you need to do, and then I'll fix it.
Okay. This is a really nice Brazilian agate. And you see the lines, and you can see from the size of my cell phone how big it is. The white lines in this agate are aragonite. Aragonite's fairly soft. Yeah, it's just crazy. Minerals are so weird, and this is such a doggone nice.
Oh, that back is cool
Yeah.
too. You should
Yeah.
polish that up.
Well, when they
Look
find
at those lines.
when they find them, they typically break a place on them so that they can see sort of what they're going to get. And a lot of times they'll take an extremely powerful light and shine it up against the agate so that they can see just what it is. And they're looking for very specific things. They want to find really, really, really good ones so they can sell those for a lot of money to the people that take agates and make things out of them. The others end up getting sold to whoever, the general public. You find them from the size of a walnut, really commonly, I guess, the size of an ostrich egg. That's a common size. And then, of course, you get bigger like this, and you just find all kinds of cool things. This one is really solid, which is Kind of uncommon because a lot of times you'll find a big section of quartz
Yeah.
in there.
So what do people use these for? You said they
Uh,
sell them and
the ones I have at home sit on a mantle, sit
okay.
on a coffee table.
Kevin likes to
They
look
just sit there, and I look at them. I have some in a case.
But sometimes you'll see stuff like this. They can kind of slice it up into chunks, and they might make like a countertop. We've got like fluorite.
Oh,
People do
okay.
countertops, or you could do lamps.
Well, that's what that
Okay.
slab
kind of
came
things.
from, was one of those, and you know,
Yeah.
sometimes you can cut a Brazilian agate. You get 2 slabs. You might get 10,
Yeah.
depending on how big it is.
Right.
This is a piece of chrysoprase, and this is one of the rocks, one of the few rocks mentioned in the Bible. This rock was part of Aaron, the high priest of the Israelites, his garment getup, and it's really cool. Chrysoprase is kind of an expensive rock, and it's extremely beautiful, and it's green, which is not all that common. But
Kevin likes a green rock.
Well,
Who would
I
have
do.
thunk it?
Not leather. Green rock.
yeah, this is not a particularly amazing piece, but when you cut it and slice it, you can get a clear, translucent green, and boy, it is just beautiful. It's just beautiful. I don't know how else.
Are you gonna cut that one, or are you just gonna leave it like that?
You know, I've got it sitting in my little area. I would like to cut it and make some stones.
One day.
I got a lot of stuff, that I want to cut.
And I've seen people, you know, maybe not this specifically this rock, but they use like light tables and they'll
Oh yeah,
display them that way.
you can do all kinds of things. Let's go on. Here is, and you'll have to. We just pulled these off our display tables today. You see that? Okay. So forgive the price stickers. I'm not out here trying to sell rocks today.
But if you want to buy one, just
trying
let
to
me know.
show rocks. Yeah, this one was,
Got one sold already.
this was $95 for this. This is nice. This is a piece of black tourmaline. It's quartz, and this is how tourmaline forms many times. It'll form in a matrix stone. In this case, it's smoky quartz. And you can see here on the top, it's got all kinds of tourmaline that has formed right inside that quartz. And it's just really cool. Tourmaline is a very interesting rock. A lot of people will buy these rocks for they believe them to have a healing property of one sort or another, and so they'll buy tourmaline for this, and agate for that, and quartz for this, and malachite for something else, and kyanite for something. That's why they buy these rocks. But specimens like this I buy because they're really neat, really cool. And I have seen tourmaline, like this pencil style piece here. I've seen tourmaline crystals probably 6 inches around and 3 feet long, growing right up through a giant quartz crystal.
That's
They
amazing.
are just so cool. But anyway, that's what this is, and it's just pretty neat.
And tourmaline, this is a black tourmaline.
This is a black tourmaline.
But you can get green and pink and
Yeah, I didn't bring any green.
or there's
pink.
watermelon. I think that's actually it's the watermelon tourmaline where like it'll shift colors throughout the spectrum of the cylinder that it grows
Right,
in.
and you find tourmaline in
So
a lot of
cool.
different places. You find it in California. Matter of fact, I've been out there and dug in the mines a little bit for tourmaline, found a few pieces. North Carolina, I believe. A lot of it comes from Morocco, just all over the world. You
What's
can
the
find it.
yellow piece that you have right here?
Looks like uranium.
This is
Is it sulfur?
weird. No,
No?
although a lot of people mistake this for sulfur.
Okay,
And sulfur
see.
looks somewhat like this. This is brucite.
Brucite.
The
Brucite.
guy named Bruce found it.
Brucite.
Exactly. A guy named Bruce did discover it. Matter of fact, I know him. He's pretty happy that he found this, and it's not cheap. This little piece is $65 for that little guy.
Oh wow.
If you're a serious collector, that's not too big of a deal, because brucite is rare, to say the least. And a lot of these minerals, they form in a place and they don't form anywhere else because the conditions have to be just right. And if they're not just right, if you don't have all the minerals surrounding this, then you're not going to get this. So he found it. We bought a good little batch of it and sell it from
Where
time to
where
time.
did he mine it? Remember?
You know, I don't remember where he got this. I don't
Hmm.
remember.
But he came in here.
No, we met him at Tucson,
Oh, of course.
and we see him every year. So that's a pretty cool thing. This, I think, is really neat. Hopefully we can see that. This is pyrite, and this comes from the country of Spain. Now, there's all kinds of pyrite, and pyrite is common. You can find that practically in every state in this country.
Is that what fool's gold?
Yes, fool's gold. And a lot of times you can find it, it's associated with quartz. And boy, it looks like gold, or at least some of it does. And you can find it in a bubbly form, which is called botryoidal. And you can find it in flaky form. You can find it in crystalline form, just all kinds. As a matter of fact, Liz, can you reach that little crystal there in front of the big crystal?
This one?
Yeah. Thank you. This particular mine in Spain, this is what they get out of that mine. That is it. That's all they get. And there's so many people, collectors, that want to buy these perfect squares.
Perfect squares.
And yeah, you can buy just the
Pretty
squares
incredible.
if you want. They're not very expensive, but I'm not too interested in having those. But getting a piece like this is more difficult. And from this vendor, occasionally he will always have a few pieces that are, they'll be 1.5 feet long,
Mm-hmm.
maybe 1 foot high, and just covered with these things. It's so cool.
Yeah, so you guys got to see like all the tiny ones that are back there. This whole piece is
Yeah.
just covered in little pyrite squares.
It's also $400.
It is
That's
$400.
just that's a retardedly expensive piece. I don't know about. Anyway, it's a cool piece if you're into rocks. This reason I want to show you, this is a calcite crystal, and this comes from eastern Missouri, and there's a story behind this. The reason I wanted to show you is, I don't know how well you can see those little sparkly things right
See
there.
it pretty well.
Oh yeah.
That is pyrite. That is chalcopyrite.
Mm-hmm.
Some people call it peacock ore.
Yeah.
And
Oh.
yeah, it's not gold like that. It changes, it has an iridescence to it. And over years, I've met a couple of guys that work in the lead mines over in the eastern part of Missouri.
Mhm.
And way, way, way down, about 1,500 feet down in the ground, they came across a big pocket, an open air pocket. And I've seen pictures of it on his phone. That pocket is as big as a Walmart supercenter.
Oh, wow.
I'm telling you, it is.
Oh my gosh. It's a
It is
case.
huge. It's
Yeah.
hard. You really can't get your head around it, except that there's a front end loader down there parked on the edge.
Wow.
Yeah, it makes you realize if that thing fell in there, you could pile hundreds of front end loaders in on top of it, and it probably wouldn't cover it
Man,
up.
that's pretty
But that
incredible.
whole pocket is filled with calcite crystals. And this is not a big one. This is just a calcite crystal. Let's see. Can we put that thing over here?
Mhm.
But this had that chalcopyrite on it, and this is a pretty rare find. Now, calcite is not rare, but calcite, like with this chalcopyrite on it, is kind of rare. And this is a smoky this one was a smoky calcite, and it had phantoms in it. Now, I don't know, can we still see this?
Yeah.
Okay. At the top, Liz, can you point to that phantom?
This right here.
That's it. That dark line, it was a crystal. And this crystal grew on top of it. And they create layers, and they call those phantoms. This is a piece that came from that mine. It's got quartz all over it. There's chalcopyrite all over it. And there's these dog-tooth calcite crystals that are just pretty darn cool all over it. There's probably lead in here. There's a little crystal, bigger crystals, nice ones. Stuff like this is hard to come by.
Mm-hmm.
Very hard to come by. And the pieces that this guy brought us a couple of years ago, oh my goodness.
There's some crazy. There's a lot of
Um,
peacock ore on
It
those.
was insane. And that kind of made pretty big news in the rock world. And a lot of those pieces are gone.
Yeah, the college was pretty excited whenever we brought that in. We have MSU here; their geology department really loves our store.
Yeah.
So anyway, that's let's see. You want?
Yep.
How much was that thing? I don't even know.
300.
300. That's worth the money.
Let's talk
Well,
about
at least
those. Not only do we have gemstones, we have fossils too.
We do. This goes in front. These are just fossils from Morocco. Obviously, snails,
Mm-hmm.
whatever you want to call them.
Very
Might have been
large snails.
Yeah. And
Historic snail.
Morocco is a large part of Morocco was ancient seabed at one time. So they can get out there in the desert, dig around. Man, they find more fossils than you can shake a stick at. And obviously, you can shake a stick at a lot of fossils. But the trilobites
Mm-hmm.
by the ton, the literal
Yeah.
ton,
Yeah.
things like this by the.
Do we still have that trilobite that we bought that had all of its tentacles, or did that sell? No.
The big one.
I think we have
Yeah, we-
some big ones out there,
Mhm.
but let's just go through some of these while we still got time. This is selenite. This is what they grind up and make drywall from.
Oh,
This is selenite.
very clear. So
Very clear selenite. Let's see. You can see the little arrow
Mm-hmm.
right through the selenite.
What's the selenite where it magnifies it?
That is a unexite.
Unexite.
it's a
And
TV stone.
yeah, if you had a dollar for every rock or mineral that ends in ITE, you could buy Brazil. Oh. This is, did I move this?
Yeah, I'll move it back for you.
Okay. This is a septarian nodule. And these are essentially, some people call them dragon eggs. Which
Yeah.
this is essentially a giant mud ball. And it looks terrible. But they grind all the mud off, and typically they will find some aragonite on the inside, like this one has. And you'll see the aragonite veins running all through. That's what this is. And I don't know if you can tell this or not. You might be able to.
Oh, yeah, look at that.
Yeah. Wow.
Aragonite fluoresces green. That's just pretty cool. Septarians are neat. They're in demand as specimens. This one's $160, but that's a pretty nice one, actually.
I thought so. I think they're really cool.
Let's see. Let's do that.
They're also very heavy.
This is delicate and fragile. Some people call this a desert rose. It's selenite.
Oh.
Same thing as the other, and it's really cool.
It's just formed in a different environment.
Yeah, different formation, different situations are present when the rock forms. You get the little white tips.
Well,
Selenite. Let's see. This. Oh,
Striker, it's 150.
oh, jeez.
but I kind of want that dragon.
This is. I really like this rock, and mainly because I found it.
found
And yes, this came from Arkansas. There's a mine down there. I'll give them a little publicity called Twin Creek. And in order to find something like this, it's called hard rock mining, which means you take a breaker bar, like a big crowbar, well, a decent sized one, not huge. It'd maybe be 3 feet long and have a point on it and a flat end on it. And then you take a sledgehammer that weighs a couple pounds and a cold chisel and a rock hammer or two, and you get into this area where you can dig into the side of these mountains, and there's quartz veins that run right up through these mountains, and it's a very specific place, and these things are formed only in certain areas in Arkansas, because of the requirements to actually get this formation. And you'll find huge, really big clusters of quartz in some of those mines. When they get down way under the ground, they find really big ones. Like you've seen the ones at Tucson from the
Oh yeah.
Ron Coleman mine down there. They're amazing. And
Yeah, like you go stand next to them and they're this big.
yeah, they're as big as a person. This one is a nice cluster. This is really good. We were pretty thrilled to
Ooh,
find
look at
this.
that shimmer.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It is a ton of work to get this stuff out. We brought back, I
So
think,
it doesn't come out this clean. You have to.
no, you have to clean this. You soak it in oxalic acid, and you wash it, of course, and you brush it, and you wash it again. You use a pressure washer on it. Then you
Kevin
use
has a lot of sweat and tears in these rocks.
use a needle sprayer to get down in there. This is the most unique mud in the world in there, and there's a story behind that. Why don't you hand me that vanadinite over there?
Okay. We'll get here.
Be careful of that one.
There's one.
Yeah. This is,
Vanadinite.
yeah, I really
Kevin
like this.
stole this from the vendor last year.
Oh boy, we had we really went back and forth on this
went
one,
back and forth on that one.
and
Kevin really wanted this box, and it had like 3 or 4 rocks in it. And that guy really didn't want to sell, so Kevin just kept going around this booth, and he kept buying a few more things, and then he'd come back, and he'd buy a few more things, and he'd come back to this box, and he was just like, I really want this box. And the guy was like, you really want it for no money.
right, yeah, we had an understanding. There was a lady that came in while I was dickering for these, and she picked up a piece. It wasn't as big as that, and she paid him $200 for it.
Yeah.
And we ended up with this, and what, 3 or 4 other pieces? We've sold 1 or 2. I don't know, but what's the price on this? This one is
Oh, $225.
$225. This is vanadinite. This is a gallery piece. This is a piece like you'd see in a museum or something of that nature. This is really nice.
Okay.
This also is vanadinite. It is not, as you can see, it's not as spectacular as this, but it's really cool. I mean, it's, how often do you get to see these? How many sides do those crystals have? 5 pentagon-shaped crystals.
No, there's 6. They're hexagons.
Okay, hexagon.
Kids, it's a hexagon.
They're like stuck on the rock, and they're just cool. This piece is like $39.
Yeah, it's like
This
somebody
is
like chucked like
$250.
hexagon stars,
Yeah.
and then they just stuck in the
Ninja
rock.
stars.
Now there are industrial uses for vanadinite, and I don't remember what they all were, but that's what they are. But I didn't even bring the nicest one of these because I didn't want to.
How did I not realize that they were hexagons?
Well, I don't know. But
I'm
vanadinite
disappointed
comes,
in myself, guys.
it's found in several locations. The stuff we have is from Morocco, and it's just pretty darn cool.
This piece is only $40.
Yeah, I know.
That's so cute.
And they're a nice specimen to have if you're a collector. That's a nice thing to
I think
be.
somebody wants to talk about this one.
Okay,
Yeah, the movie.
you want to bring it over here?
Mookite.
Oh, this is really, gosh.
This is cool. I think we had this in like the first, maybe one of the first of these shows that we did.
Yeah, I think so.
I brought in some rocks for funsies.
Yeah,
Right
this
after
is
I got back.
Yeah.
brecciated mookite, which
What is brecciating?
all busted up and fused together again.
Yeah. But it was hematite. The hematite formed.
Yes, there's hematite in there.
Yeah.
Hematite, whatever.
There we go. That's good.
It is really cool.
Cool
And
specimen.
this comes from Australia, the Strelly Station, to be precise. And the mookite there is pretty amazing. Now, this also is mookite. Can you see it? Okay, you got it?
Mm-hmm.
That's mookite. This is the kind that somebody would either polish and leave it as a specimen like that. That kind of looks like it's got a volcano erupting in it.
It sure does.
Cabs are cut. Jewelry is made out of this. It's a spectacular rock. And this one, the big one, the brecciated mookite, is strictly a specimen. And it'd be a specimen for a serious collector who wants to have this sitting on a little stand someplace, you know.
It's a really cool piece.
It is. It's $600, and I can just about tell you we won't have that through the season.
This is gonna
Here
be
you go.
somebody's present. Oh yeah.
This one, oh, this, I brought this because, let's see, you
Can I go
want
for Tony?
to hand me the little
The little guy.
crystal again? This thing came from the same mine as this.
Oh, in eastern Missouri.
Yeah, this is galena or lead, and it forms an extremely structured crystals.
Very dense.
Oh boy, dense. Yeah,
It's very heavy.
a chunk the size of a coconut will make you go, oh. So this thing is covered with chalcopyrite, and it's got a little bitty calcite crystal right there, which I thought was pretty cool. But it showed what this is what the mine is in operation for. They're mining lead. That's what they want. They don't care about this stuff. They don't care about this. They'll run this through the crusher and be happy. But they allow some of the workers that work down in the mine, as part of their pay, if they wish, they can stop and pick this stuff up. Now, I don't know if they still do it because,
We haven't seen those guys in a minute.
yeah. So anyway, that's that. This, oops. Here you go. This is really cool. It's malachite. Malachite is found all over the world also, even in the United States, but it's not found as nicely as this. The really good malachite comes from South Africa. And this is a pretty darn good piece right here. This is just beautiful.
It's so cool.
Yeah, and it's everything from lines and eyes and
Nurbles and warbles and
yeah, this is just,
all the weird words that Kevin says.
and it's expensive. This is $125. It's a really nice rock. It's also very hazardous if you grind it and you breathe in the dust. That's very, very bad. This is kyanite, and it's a, boy, that's reasonable. This is a blue rock, sort of like tourmaline, except it doesn't have the same internal structure. It's more fragile. It's looser, I guess, and it forms in quartz, very loose quartz. This thing, you could probably pick this rock apart if you really tried hard and wanted to. But kyanite makes beautiful gemstones, makes great specimens to sit somewhere in your favorite collecting area. And thought you might like to see that. You want to stick that back there?
Yep, there's your.
This, my phone. Oh, there it is.
Stryker, I wish that we maybe knew a little bit more about the scientific side of stones, but
They're pretty. That's about as far as I can get you.
yeah, you can buy a book.
Takes a long time.
This is grape agate. I believe it's from Indonesia. That's one of the few places that it's found.
That's also agate.
That's
It's
an agate.
really not agate. It's chalcedony, but
But those nurbles are hard.
they are very hard.
Like, I thought the first time we saw this, I thought it was going to be a really fragile stone, but like, you can't pop one of those things off unless you
No,
really try.
It's not at all. And for whatever reason, the industry calls it grape agate. I have no idea why.
Ain't no picking those grapes.
Not easily. Let's do this while we got a little bit of time. Ooh.
Guys, we got to the opals.
Let me see.
Okay.
Can you see these?
Yeah, hang on. We're gonna go to the overhead and give us.
Oh, you got it.
Uh-huh.
I'll let Liz hold them up. Yeah, you can't really see them. Yeah, the lighting is not
Shine a
happy
light
for
on
that.
there.
Tony will come turn us down.
But anyway, these, you're starting to
There
see
it
it.
comes.
These are, oh, I moved them out of the way, didn't I? Sorry. These are exceptional. I mean, these are just absolutely some of the best Australian opal I have ever seen. I mean, they're
Wow.
just,
That is
oh,
brilliant.
yeah, and the camera does no justice to this.
Mm-mm.
This is spectacular.
So these are 2 cabs that Kevin cut, and then we've got like the full size specimen.
Well, here's a piece,
Mm-hmm.
and that's got a lot of fire in it. And you can kind of see that, but one like that you'd get several cabochons from if you cut it correctly. Opals,
And that's what you cut these from.
well, not that piece, but
Okay.
a piece like
Yes.
that. It's really hard to get opal of that quality. I mean,
Yeah, these are
Wow,
amazing.
it's crazy expensive. I mean, just to buy the rough is crazy expensive.
Yeah, but this one with that, like, there's like a field in the middle.
Mm-hmm.
Okay,
Okay.
well, let's go on.
Enough of that.
This is a zeolite. And a zeolite is a rock formation consisting of lots of different things. It can have mica in it. It can have stilbite. It can have quartz. It can have apophyllite. That's green apophyllite right there. And it can have heulandite. And, just, I don't know how many other rocks, but it can have a bunch of them in there. I really like this one because it's got that great big green apophyllite crystal in it. And I thought that was kind of cool.
I got one of our so in India, this zeolites come from India. A lot of them, or there's some nice big mines in India. And one of the guys, we bought like a whole truckload of flats from him, or like a whole, I don't know, it was the whole back end of our car, pretty much of flats. And he had some zeolites that had fluorite balls that had formed on it.
Yeah.
And I conned one of those out of the guy, and
Yeah,
Kevin
you'll find
did get
fluoride
one.
associated with them. Really, really pretty neat. This one is a neat rock. This is a raw
No, right
emerald.
here.
And it's from Colombia. And it's just nifty. It's the way they form. In very
Barrel.
bar-like crystals.
Barrel structure.
Yep. So, well, I believe it is a barrel.
Yep. BERYL.
YL. So that's pretty neat to have
Here, shut that down there.
an emerald in your collection. Is pretty nifty. And we buy emeralds of different qualities. You know, some are more expensive than others.
Look at those emeralds.
They show. Oh yeah,
Yeah.
that shows
Wow.
up really good. That's nice. Here, let's look at a couple other things while you're doing that. This is really fun.
Oh, he got it.
I did.
Corundum.
This is corundum. This is a ruby, and it comes from Pakistan. Most of the good rubies and stuff like that, a lot of the gemstones come from Pakistan, Afghanistan. By the way, you know what Pakistan means?
I don't.
Land of the Pakis.
Okay.
Afghanistan is land of the Afghans.
Hmm.
That's how it works. Watch what happens to this ruby.
Oh wow.
Is that cool? And look at that piece of calcite. Can you see that there?
We can't.
Turns pink. Really pink.
Wow, that's really neat.
Yeah, and I really like the. You can't even
yeah.
hardly see that, can you?
Well,
Guys, it's like the rock isn't pink, but like this is like glowing.
Yeah, the ruby itself is like it is blazing fire red. I don't know how.
yeah, it's very.
But the
Very
rest of the
deep.
rock stays white.
It's almost
so
like a
just-
neon pink.
Yeah. It's so cool.
Oh well.
Wow.
We tried.
So somebody said is an opal is a stone and not a gem. And I guess maybe I'm not 100% sure what they mean by that, but maybe you do.
It is a gemstone.
It is a gemstone.
Yes, and it is a rock.
It's both of them.
It's everything all at
This-
once.
Let's see.
You were perfect where you were.
This is. Yeah, this is really neat. I really like this a lot. This is vanadinite on barite.
Mm.
And barite is fairly common. It is mined for industrial purposes, as is vanadinite. But there's a lot of it that's suitable for collecting. And you'll find quite often barite, vanadinite, and pyrite all form
They're
together.
friends.
Yeah, they're friendly.
So is that bentonite right here?
Mhm.
Yes.
This is the barite.
Yep, and the red,
Huh.
wherever you see the red, it's vanadinite. Let's see, what else we got here? You probably can't see this.
Not anymore because we're super zoomed in.
Oh,
But-
hey,
But
there you
look
can.
at that.
Wow.
This is
Oh,
labradorite.
that one.
Labradorite is really cool. The higher end labradorite is called spectralite, and that means it just has more flash to it. And this is a nice one. It's not a super great one, but it is pretty nice. Makes wonderful looking jewelry.
Mm-hmm.
That's my
Yeah.
favorite. That's what my cabinets, my countertops would be out of.
Yeah, well, they make countertops out of this stuff.
And correct
This
me if I'm
one's
wrong, but
$60.
labradorite's only found in one place.
No, you can find labradorite in several places, but Canada
It was where it was
is a
discovered.
pretty good
right?
source. I
Yeah.
think so.
Okay.
Yeah, it's got flash all over it, really.
Mm-hmm.
That's a pretty good piece.
I bought a couple of these the first year that I went to Tucson to make finials for curtain rods out of, but I never got it done. Now they're just decoration in my house.
Now they're just rocks.
Let's take, how about that one, Dan? Can you bring that one over here?
All right, we'll look at a couple more, but then we're gonna
We're going to go.
break open a geode.
Geode.
Oh, this is tiger iron.
Oh,
Really close.
hold tight.
Really close up, Tiger. There we are.
Yeah, again, this comes from
Oh, we're focused on the van. Or,
the Strelly station in Australia. And it's very picturesque. A lot of hematite in it, tiger eye is in it, jasper.
Yeah.
It's an interesting rock. And it's just cool. Kind of pricey too. You can put that back.
Tony's got us focused up over here on our big fluorite,
Oh, nice. Well,
Thanks,
Well,
Anna.
our
quartz,
big quartz.
quartz crystal. This is from Peru. Quartz crystals, fluorite, and
And some pyrite sprinkles.
yeah, you see the little black looking stuff on the screen that looks like it's drizzled on the quartz crystals. That's pyrite.
Wow.
This is also a piece that would be in a museum.
Uh-huh.
We got a $3,000 price tag on that. It's expensive.
It's so cool though.
It is really.
Yep.
Any angle you look at this from.
Yeah. It's
Lastly,
amazing.
how about we talk about this one? Can we go back to this?
What do you want? Oh, that. Nope, that.
Yep, perfect.
This is celestite. Celestite's really cool. It comes in geode forms, and it is extremely heavy. Pick it up.
Yeah. No,
You
this
can
is-
just tell it just is. It's a lot heavier than a normal rock.
There you go. Toss it in your hand there, Liz.
So celestite's really kind of in a high demand type of thing.
And that has a really nice like blue shimmer to it.
Yep. If you leave this in the sun, direct sunlight for too long, you will end up with white crystals. And should we do the?
Let's do it, guys. We brought in a break open geode. We're gonna open
Break a
it.
geode.
We're gonna break a geode. I think it's pre-broken.
Oh, it's already broken.
Yeah, but this is a Moroccan, right? Yeah, Moroccan geode.
Yes.
We've got a great friend named Muhammad.
No, we have 10 great friends named Mohammed. Everybody in Morocco is named Mohammed. You know, in this country, people come up and say, "Hey man, how you doing?" In Morocco, they come up and say, "Hey Mohammed, how you doing?"
Yeah.
And that's what they do. That's really true.
And then the Vivian.
We never got to talk about the Vivian.
That's okay.
It's cool. It looks like
It's super cool.
shards.
It looks like
Vivianites.
but the
Looks like
Superman
Vivian.
painting.
Yeah,
That's rare and
it's
expensive.
Superman's
Superman,
cave of solace.
Yeah.
Solitude.
Solitude.
Fortress of
Fort-
Solitude.
Thank you. I knew there were some other geeks in here to help me out a little bit.
Not a geek. Well, I might be. Nerd with something. There we are. Big honking geode that was at one time whole. Sort of like that. And
See, if I was walking in a field and I saw that, I wouldn't think anything of it.
well, I'd have picked that thing up in a heartbeat.
Willie,
Walking around, trip over it.
Willie wants to know about dynamite.
Dynamite?
Talk about all these ites.
Dynamite.
Well, Well, I'll tell you what.
Bye.
Here's your rock stuff, Liz.
Yeah, thanks. We're gonna have to clean up in here a little bit, but
Ah,
this is a Moroccan geo. They're so cool. You get 2 stands, you kind of face them together.
yeah.
Yeah. Wow.
And they're just filled with snow white quartz and are beautiful.
Mm-hmm.
Wow.
So, anyways, if you ever get a chance to come to Springfield, Missouri, these are the kind of fun things that you can look at
These are some of them.
from 10 a.m. until 6 p.m. And then you can come back the next day.
Hey,
Yeah.
thanks for listening today.
Well, how do you identify a geode from a normal rock?
I hate to tell you this, but it's experience and practice. If you need to look at some geodes that somebody has, and you just take a mental picture. That's it.
Can you find some of the lines coming on the outside of the rock?
Occasionally, sure.
Yeah.
Yeah, geodes are not so bad. Once you understand a geode can be an agate, it can be the celestite, it can be cold water agate, it
I was
can
about
be
to
a
geode.
zeolite.
Yeah,
There's an
sounds like-
amethyst,
It's a tiny cathedral. I brought in our tiniest cathedral.
but that's a geode.
Mm-hmm.
So once you understand what they look like, essentially, then when you get good at it, you can pick one out of a pile pretty easy.
Mm-hmm. And a lot of times weight. So like, especially if you're looking for things like this that are hollow, you can pick up a regular rock and then you can pick up this other rock over here and you're like, hey, this is half the weight of this rock.
Sometimes,
Yes.
You might have an open cavity with some cool stuff inside.
but not always.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's just the way it is.
So
Sometimes
anyway,
rocks are cool, sometimes they're just rocks.
Yeah.
either way, some of them
We
are
went right out of them.
fun to look at.
Alrighty,
Okay,
guys.
So
We're
thank
off.
you for joining us on this special rock edition.
We rocked it.
I am going
Yeah.
to rocket off the lunch.
Bye, guys. Have a good
Bye.
weekend.
See ya.
Made a